Right, hello everybody and welcome to this episode of The Crash Course. We're going to be starting off today's episode with the Hirochi Sunburst. This is the 2-litre Sport S all-wheel drive variant. First all-wheel drive car to tackle this course, hopefully should have some advantages, but I also think that this isn't the strongest vehicle, especially compared to some of the big rear-wheel drive body on frame stuff, so we'll have to see how it does. Starting off, heading down the stairs, and immediately the induction system is damaged. Now, it's not too bad. Might affect the speed, but that doesn't seem to really matter around a course like this. If anything, you want to be going slower. And it also could affect the way the vehicle heats up. Maybe if the turbos aren't really working, it might be a bit cooler. I don't know. I really don't know how the game handles this new feature, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Heading down the hill, bit of airtime. Ooh, that kind of snapped back a bit. I think the steering might be a little bit damaged. Open diffs, not really helping me there. Over the speed jumps. Seems to be taking it in its stride. Radiator damage, which is a bit of a pain, but not too surprising. I'm not entirely sure I'm expecting this vehicle to go. I don't expect it to last as long as the Wendover did last episode, because that thing was extremely surprising. But it's got 4-wheel drive, so I think it would do better than. Ooh, saying that wheel is not at the right angle, but it should do better than at least the 200BX, and it's already coming up to be doing better than 200BX, and hopefully the Country Squire. But that wheel is, oof. I mean, it's not affecting the handling too much. It is definitely pulling it towards the. Oh, and that's the rear drive shaft gone. Wow, I really thought this thing was going to be stronger. This thing might. So it is being pulled by. Well, it is now front wheel drive basically, and that's the front half shaft gone. Open diff. Huh. That's the Sunburst dead. Wow, that thing did not last long at all. Huh. I mean, I guess it just took one too many jumps, killed the drive shaft, and then landing in the water broke the already damaged half shaft. But wow, that thing was nowhere near as good as I expected. Right, well, after that disappointing performance from the Sunburst, we're going to give this a try. This is the modern Abishu Pessima. This is the LX 2.7 version, V6, front wheel drive. Not expecting it to do too well, but could surprise me. These things always used to be known for, well, at least to me, for the engines braking on heavy jumps before things like the axles would go. But I don't know, it's changed a lot since then. Gained a subframe in a recent update, so might do better than I expect. Oof, that was a big clonk. This thing seems to be quite front heavy, which is to be expected, but since it's a luxury version, maybe floppy suspension will help. Radiator's already gone. This thing isn't looking particularly promising. Well, saying that, took those stairs pretty well apart from the radiator. Open diff, I think, this thing, so not going to be expecting it to drive if we lose a wheel. Got a decent amount of power. It's not a bad vehicle, it's just kind of a bit boring. Slowing down for the speed jumps. again, it's just pretty uneventful. Suspension all seems to be intact. Isn't heating up too quickly. So far, pretty happy with this thing. But as we found out with the Sunburst, it can all go downhill rather quickly. See how it lands this jump. Ooh, that was a heavy landing, but it seemed to be mostly on the back. It was a lot flatter than, well, than the Sunburst was. So far this thing seemed quite promising. Who knows, maybe front wheel drive is the way to go for this track. The Wendover certainly did well. Although the Sunburst, after it was front wheel drive, did not. To the jumps. Pulling a bit. Oh! You have got to be kidding me. Well, we'll let it coast, see how far it gets, but another vehicle gone on those jumps? I mean, I really didn't think that they were as dangerous as that. Bloody hell. Well, another disappointing score today. Been less than 10 minutes and already 2 vehicles done. Let's hope what comes next is a bit more exciting. Well, next up we have one of, if not the most recognisable movie vehicle of all time. The Dmc Delorean, or the Delorean Dmc, I should say. Mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, not particularly powerful. This one is the US spec one, so it's got the higher suspension, which could do it some favours. I don't really know what to expect with this. First mid-engine vehicle. I think generally for this series, God, it's quite loud. Each episode is going to feature, 2 base game vehicles, and then from then, depending on how long they're taken, 1 or 2, more interesting mods. Just to, freshen up, keep it interesting, and slowly get through list of cars. Stairs, traction isn't the best, but seems to have taken them pretty well. Doesn't feel like it's really enjoying the hill. That PRV V6 isn't the most powerful, and those tyres I don't imagine the most grippy. But it's going to make it, I think. Not very quickly, mind, and it is heating up, I can see, even with the radiator still intact. Could be a bit of a worry. But it's up. Not particularly fun vehicle to drive, really, in this game, at least in standard US spec. Just because it's, a bit snappy, a bit wobbly. Get it slowed down for the speed jumps. Oh, that one's a bit slow. Weird gearing on this thing. Not really a fan of it, but yeah, all seems to be okay so far. Doesn't even look that damaged, to be honest. Although it is heating up alarmingly quickly. Not sure on that one. Oh well. Who knows, maybe it'll stick at operating temperature for a while. First of the big jumps rolled. Is it going to flip itself back over? No. Back over now. Didn't really seem to do much damage. These things were built pretty, mechanically they weren't the best, but structurally they were quite tough. I seem to remember John Delorean cared quite a bit about safety of his vehicles. Water splash, that's definitely cooled the engine down a bit. That's helpful. Cliff, all good. So far, well, this is definitely the most promising vehicle. Well, I'm not going to speak too soon, but if it gets through here, it will definitely be the furthest vehicle of this episode, which is a bit of a surprise. Oh, That's the radiator gone. It's a bit unexpected. I guess the water did, is a pretty tough thing to hit. Oh, what? The rear right axle is gone. I guess it must have landed funny after the roll. And with open diff, the third vehicle this episode, dead here. What is happening? I don't get it. My God. Well, that's the Delorean out. This is going to be a very short episode. Well, the next vehicle to tackle this course is this. It's a Mazda 626, 2-litre inline-4, front-wheel drive, manual gearbox. Might do okay, although, as this episode has proven, nothing can really be relied on. This is a tricky course and, well, likes to claim vehicles. There goes the bumper immediately, and I think the radiator, yep. Off to a painful start, although it's taking the stairs okay. Haven't had any real problems. A bit of difficulties making up the hill, but it's mostly grip, I think. It's nothing to do with ground clearance or power, so it doesn't really worry me. Looking a bit to the right, but not much of a worry. I've learnt to really keep my mouth shut, I think, especially around this course. It's just unpredictable, and it seems like everything I say gets disproven a minute or so later. So it's best if I just don't say anything for the time being. Maybe once we get a lap, if we get a lap, I'll start talking about how well the car's doing, but so far, everything seems to have done its best to make me look stupid. Which I can understand is a fun hobby, but, well, I feel a bit stupid. Come around here over the big jump. Pretty flat landing. Seems okay. Suspension suffering a bit. Pulling to the right, but nothing too alarming. Not having too much fun through the water. Got the cliff. All good. But here's where the real test begins. Can this vehicle go further than anything else this episode? All it has to do is make it past these two jumps and round the next corner. No. The answer to that is no. Oh my God. 4 vehicles in a row killed by the same jumps. This is just ridiculous. I really don't know what to say. I mean, well, we knew this was going to be a hard course, but didn't think it'd be this hard. Well, it seems like a bit of an anticlimax to end an episode with 4 vehicles going out at the exact same point, so yeah, let's shake it up a little. This is the Cavrol D series, the D25 Fleet Long Bed V8, I think. Rear-wheel drive, solid front and rear axles. Hopefully it'll just be a bit tougher than the others, to be honest. Taking the stairs, well, at this point I'm just, oh God, this thing does not turn particularly well. I don't even know how to describe it. It seems like I guess it's the solid front axle, but Weird. Making up the hill okay though. Down through the right-hander. Speed jumps. All good. So far it seems pretty much undamaged. You know, it's got a little bit, but this is a tough vehicle. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll do a bit better than the others. Although that is not a very high bar that has been set. Ooh, that seemed a bit more painful. I think that's kind of bent the frame of the truck. It seems like the chassis's been bent a bit banana shape. That's not too bad. I mean, you know, it's gonna get damaged obviously, and it make it a bit weaker. The main worry is that doing that enough times, drive shaft is gonna not be able to connect, you know, reasonably. You lose the drive shaft after one too many of those, simply because it can't. You know, it's pointing out of the gearbox at one angle, and the differential at the back is facing another angle. It's just not going to work. Water seems to have broken the fall quite well there. Another landing. It's not too bad. Well, after only 1.6 miles, or yeah, well, after only 1.6 miles, this is officially the furthest a vehicle has gone this episode. God almighty. What a disappointment. I mean, you know, I knew this course was tough, but I thought from the first episode, you know, even the 200BX going out so quickly, I thought was, you know, a bit of a freak accident. Might turn out that, you know, that's the norm. Ooh. Ooh. You see that oh god. Bloody hell, I've got it stuck in a trench. That landing looked bad. It has bent the chassis a bit, but I think that was mostly just bodywork damage on the bed. You know, after the rear axle, it really doesn't matter as long as... In fact, I think the fuel tank's in front of the rear axle, so... You know, I'm really not getting worried. At least not yet. Ooh, understeer. Come on, get back on the track. I've been having a few issues with, I think it's something to do with the Gavril V8s, I don't know what it is, with the throttle seeming to cut out. Had it with no... Oof, that was bad. Yeah, I'm keeping 100% throttle, and then if you look at the rev counter, it seems to be going up and down. This thing is not driving straight anymore, but it's not the biggest worry. It seems to be cutting power. I think it's something to do with the induction system. I don't understand really. I had it with a Grand Marshal during testing. It's annoying for sure. It feels like there's ESC or something going on, but there isn't, and it's only with vehicles with the Gavril V8, so I really don't know. It could be a bug. If it is, I guess I'll be, you know, retesting vehicles with different variants. It doesn't seem to be. Oh god. Ooh. Again, you know, seems to be mostly cosmetic. God, I was worried for a second that we lost a wheel, but it's just the spare. You know, rolling over, not the worst, as long as it, you know, doesn't tear the vehicle to shreds. And the same with this throttle cutting. It's not the worst thing, but it does still put the vehicles at an unfair advantage if it is a bug. If it's a feature, maybe part of the new induction damage, I'm not entirely sure, then fair, this is part of the game now that we have to deal with, but I guess I'll wait and see. Well, that is one lap completed. The furthest a vehicle has gone this entire episode. Bloody hell. Oops. Stairs, it's okay. Quite difficult to handle at this point, but you know, that's well, it's not particularly dangerous yet. Starting to get dangerous. Yeah, it just seems like it's got a fuel cut, but at random RPMs. Not entirely sure what this is all about. Down here. Oh, oh, come on, come on. Ah, gone for a spin. You see the frame juddering as it turns. Oh. I'll try and get up to speed before the speed jumps. That's as good as we're going to get for that one. Again, these kind of, you know, flat landing jumps don't really seem to bother the truck. It's got enough suspension even now. It's the... Oh, it's just understeered there and burst a tyre. That's a bit of a pain, but honestly this thing's so bad handling at the moment anyway. In fact, that seems to have cancelled out some of the crabbing. I don't know, maybe I'm just imagining it. It's jumps like this where I worry about the drive shaft going. Oh, that was a bit off to an angle. Might have even helped it, but yeah, I'm going to try and keep it on the track. But so far, not too bad, apart from this weird throttle thing. Through the water. Oh, come on. This is ridiculous now. I don't understand it. I don't know what's been damaged that's causing this. If it is a feature of the game, it's a really annoying one. If it is a bug, then I apologise, D25, but you know, still doing better than anything else this episode. Oh, landed that one a bit funny. Same with that, but still going. Oh, it doesn't. It just doesn't like turning right, really. Well, it doesn't like turning anyway, but kind of gets grip at weird points because of the bends in the chassis. I'm trying my best here, but it's a difficult thing to handle at high speed. Another jump doesn't really, you know, it's ooh, that didn't feel good. Oh, I don't say that. I still seem to have steering, so that's the main worry. Chassis bend definitely, but come on. Down into the water a bit. Again, landed that quite well, honestly. Not much to say at the moment. I'm just driving a truck, really. This jump is worrying me a bit because last time that's what screwed up the rear wheels. But oh, definitely landed better. Trying to keep it out of the sides of the gutter, the trench, whatever it is. A clunk there. Radiator's still hanging on. That's a surprise, really, for any vehicle, but oh, come on. Come on, truck. There we go. Past the spare wheel. And onto the third lap. Not bad. Really seems like most of the bad damage was done that first lap, and now because of the speed that it's lost. Oh, don't want to speak too soon. Because of the speed it's lost, really not able to do as much damage these, other laps. I think we could be seeing this thing survive quite a long time, unless the radiator goes or it, has a really bad crash. It just doesn't seem like the kind of thing that will die. Going up the hill, come on. You can do this. I wonder what it's like inside. Not too bad. I kind of expect it to be strong. I mean, it is a truck after all, it's a work vehicle, and a fleet one at that. Some exhaust crackles. Ooh. Over the speed jumps. A funky landing there. It's all good. Yeah, as I said, I just think it's kind of got to the point where it's lost enough speed because of the damage and the difficulty control. It's really not doing that much more damage to itself. It is heating up, and it's getting more and more difficult to control. But it's just not doing, the big landings. Oh, I'm going to hit a tree if I'm not careful. Oh, I have hit a tree, because I'm not careful. Suspension really doesn't look particularly attached anymore. I think there is a chance that this may even challenge the Wendover, though I don't want to speak too soon, but it just doesn't seem like the kind of thing that will be dying anytime soon. The Wendover, every single jump I was waiting to hear a clonk or to see something break and it to die. But this, it just feels like it's going to go for light years, really. Hoping that doesn't make the episode end up being 9 million years long, because I decided to do 5 vehicles instead of the disappointingly short 4, but yeah. And it's cooled down again because of the water. I really don't see a death in sight. I guess this isn't what pickup trucks are built to do, but they're built to be tough, built to be abused and ragged on and just kind of take it. And it sure as hell is taking it. Every other vehicle seemed like the wheel axles were made of paper mache this episode. But not the D series. No sir. I believe the Wendover did about 10 miles. Although, the distance indicator isn't really what's going to be decided. It's just kind of give a rough... Oh, I spoke too soon. I just couldn't get it under control for the jump. And that side landing was a bit too hard. And it didn't just pop off one wheel axle, it popped off 2. He was going rather well as well. Probably a bit worse to drive than the Wendover, but still was looking promising. But one too many jumps landing on wheels, and that was that really. Well, as for the scoreboard this week, bit of an interesting one. Into second place goes the D45 Fleet V8 long bed. Went out at 9.1 miles. It was an impressive vehicle, but bad landing killed the wheel axles, and that was that one gone. And then we moved to what I believe is going to be a new collection started for vehicles with weak wheel axles. Starting at the top with the new Pezima 2.7 LX V6. That goes into 5th place, wheel axles. All of these vehicles are 1.6 miles, but I've gone through, checked the footage, this one rolled the furthest. Next we have the Delorean Dmc the US spec one. Again, wheel axles, same jumps. I think this is going to be a recurring theme for this series for vehicles that are weak. Into 7th we have the Mazda 626, the 2 litre. Again, wheel axles. This one was a bit more extravagant, having both the wheel axles go on the same jump, which made it a bit more interesting, but didn't roll as far as, say, the DMC. And into 8th place we have the Sunburst Sport S all-wheel drive. Very poor showing by the Sunburst. Honestly, I'm disappointed. I thought that thing was going to do a lot better, but it lost the drive shaft over a pretty simple jump, and then the wheel axles on the next, so yeah. Anyways, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a weird one, that's for sure. And as always, please like and subscribe. See ya.